Hey everybody, I'm Dove.
I'm Nicole.
We're so happy to be with you guys today to be talking about so much of the energy that's happening, the full moon, and some really important topics, pain and triggers, right? So if you're new to our station, please go down and subscribe so you can stay connected to us and we can be with you guys through this journey and this process. And if you also like the content that we're bringing to you guys, please share this content and hit the little like button, right? Create the support so that we can know how to serve you guys. So also, if you're new to us, we are consciousness mentors, right? We are energy healers. We do motivational speaking and we help you get into your aligned and abundant life through our skills as channels, as mentors, and activators. So we're so happy to be with you guys. We want to talk about some really big subjects. And I know a lot of you are feeling some really intense energy.
You gotta be feeling it, man.
Yes.
Wow.
This moon.
This super blood blue moon. I was like, that sounds serious. That sounds really freaking serious. It feels serious, right? Everyone's going through this amplification of their emotions to like, oh, am I gonna make it? I saw a really good meme with Kermit the Frog with like an oxygen mask trying to go through this moon in Leo. And the thing is that it's very interesting. I tend to go through a lot of this stuff before Dove does. I start feeling it and then I get through it. So now I'm in this I'm in a jazzy place right now. So there's something coming after this, right? So you're going through having to look at all these last minute things because we're clearing out. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, the lunar eclipse. The lunar eclipse is happening, this completion of what you've been working towards since the solar eclipse that happened in August.
Yeah.
Right? So you've been working, you've been toiling, you've been planting seeds, you've been watering it, you went through the fire last year, you're going through all this stuff, and all of this stuff is growing. And all that stuff that you wanted to get through, work through, is done. I'm not saying you're not gonna live life on life's terms, but there's gonna be more peaceful waters, right? For you to navigate through. There's gonna be access to peace and joy, and all these things are gonna start opening up, and those doors are already shut. They really were shutting. Things were shutting down that were not benefiting us any longer. We actually, in our being, couldn't house it anymore. We were some of you were messaging and saying, I had to stop drinking, I had to change my diet, I had to leave friends that I love so much, because it's just, you can't do it anymore. Your being won't allow it at this moment, right? Because there's such access to this frequency that is unconditional love. So as we're consciously in that space, the things that don't benefit us, the things that aren't truth, the things that are conditional, the things that are painful, that are traumatic, they're just starting to leave the body because it can't be in this place. Now, that is going to cause a large amount of pain. So we're talking about pain.
Yeah, pain. We're so taught to believe that pain is something negative, right? And Nicole and I were in the car many months ago and we're sitting and we're talking and all of a sudden we're like, what if we were conditioned to understand pain differently, right? What if we were excited when something was painful? What if we were taught that there's so much benefit in it, right? It's so much of it is our belief system. And the thing is that when we go into pain, when we go into the depth of our stuff, it means that we get to look at it. It means that we get to expand through it. It is a point of connection. It is a point of remembering. It's actually has so much gift. If you look back at your life, show yourself proof positive, right? Look back at your life and go, so where did I have my biggest growth moments? It wasn't from those times that, everything was so okay and fine or even happy and great, but it was the times that you had to scrape your knees and go down to the bottom of that experience and dig into that and find out what was going on, and you barely thought you were gonna hang on, right? And I know a lot of you are feeling that right now because the energy is so intense. And I mean, Nicole has been feeling good the last couple of days, but for me, even this past weekend, one of the days I had to be in bed all day, I was so tired from the energy and so tired from so much transformation and the collective going through it as well, right? And we're always kind of transmuting for you guys. And so I was like, I need to just rest. So I know a lot of you are feeling that now. You're like, I am holding on, what the right is happening right now? What is really good? What is really going on? And so I kind of just invite you into how could we have a new and different perspective of the concept of pain? Because for me, the experience of going through pain in my life has always shot me into a different awareness, a different sort of consciousness, and a different ability, a different growth pattern.
Yeah. So let me give you some perspective. So if we had no conditions. If we were always tapping into unconditional love and we didn't have any trauma and we didn't have any negative belief systems and we removed all of those things, we would be in a state of bliss, state of peace, a state of joy. All right? So that is our natural state. That's the natural state. Abundance, money, laughter, harmony, balance is our natural state. Pain is an indicator that there are things going on within us and collectively that are not aligned with that.
Yes.
Your subconscious is connected to the collective consciousness. That is what I just said. There is conditions, there is illusion, there is trauma, there is belief systems that no longer will stand up against unconditional love. So we're going through this process. So pain is so important right now to really be an indicator of that you are not aligned at that moment, and you can and you will have access to it at every moment. And now we're talking about just a tiny bit of shift in perspective. It's a tiny bit of shift in the way you are now going to step forward through that. And when we talked about the work isn't even work at all. The work is just a state of being. And when you learn how to get into that state of being by practicing different things to become that, to become in your conscious mind, being able to make your conscious mind rule you, not your subconscious, and tapping into like the all-knowing of what we actually have access to, because it is us, right? What is within us, right, is really, it's everything.
Yeah.
It's there. It's there. So pain is a great indicator that things aren't really happening. So for instance, if you're really, really depressed, I promise you're not fully expressing yourself at all, right? Depressed. When we start to express who the hell we really are, how we feel, how we perceive things, when we start to just be who we really are in every aspect of our life, we naturally will go into peace. Anxiety comes from the uncomfortability of just not being who you really are. When I realized there was a lot of things in my life that I was just like, yeah, okay, I'll just go with it. Yeah, it's not worth saying anything because you know what, no one's listening. And all these things, what happened was I started to stuff, and I became like, I just was destroying myself, like literally destroying myself. So,
yeah.
do you have anything to say?
That's a really, no, Nicole said it so perfectly. And so inviting you guys to allow that sort of transition in your mind a little bit. And sometimes the human mind is something we have to take control of, okay? And so we will think like, oh my God, that's so simple. That's so simple what she's saying. But it's so simple. All our truths are so simple. Not just ours, the universal truth. They're simple. We overcomplicate them, or we don't apply them, or we don't practice them. So allow yourself to practice them. Allow yourself to go through it. So triggers, in a very similar vein, I want to talk about triggers and why they are of value to you and to other people. So for me, when I think about a trigger is actually a cellular memory of a moment, of an experience, either past or present life, that you're actually reactivating through a present circumstance. And then almost like through a wormhole, you're being thrown back into that time, right? So people say a lot to us, I should be over it. So things you experience in your life, they're not like a cold. You get over a cold. You don't get over a trauma. You don't get over an abuse. You go through it, you resolve it, you can release it. It can even go back to as if that had never existed.
Completely.
But only through some level of acknowledgement, some level of work, some level of release of it. Not just, so if you're telling yourselves, I should be over this, I should be over this, and then, right, what happens? You trigger back into that. Let's first acknowledge that you're not over it. And secondly, that there's no such thing, right? You don't need to be over it. You don't need to judge yourself. You don't need to deny yourself that reality. Maybe it's something that happened to you when you were 5. But the thing is, you never talked about it. You never dealt with it. And so it's in your memory. It's in your genetics. It's in your subconscious. And it's ruling the show.
Yes.
Let me tell you a secret. That's the stuff that's ruling your reality. And we're not even bringing it to our consciousness most of the time. So we feel like we don't even have control over our lives when you are this powerful creator of your existence.
Dang.
Okay? So if you really are ready to step into that energy of like, I want to create this powerful life that I know I'm a participant and a creator of, then we need to start to look at those things. And so I just want to ask you guys to bring some just like compassion to yourselves.
Yes.
Really deep compassion to yourselves. There's nothing you should be over. So a trigger is going to be an indicator that there's something that needs your attention as well, just like the pain. But it's going to bring you back, right back into that visceral sensation. It is going to throw you back in time, into that energy. And it's that root that needs to be addressed and that root that needs to be cleared, but it's also such a tool. So if you find yourself in a trigger, when you can start to take note of what you're experiencing, what's going on? What did it bring you back to? What are the feelings in your body? What needs your attention?
Yes.
What needs to be released out of your cells in order for that wormhole to stop drawing you back into that experience, right? And triggering others. So because these triggers are such a gift to us, if you are acting from a state of love, okay, not trying to hurt somebody, not consciously intending to create harm in another person's, mind or their existence, but when you're acting from a state of truth and love and somebody becomes triggered, their own experience, not yours, sometimes it's a gift, right? Because they're also getting that gift of that trigger just like we do, so that they can look at it. They can look at themselves. They can consider that self-responsibility. And so a lot of you are also like, not wanting to do what Nicole said, living your full self-expression because you're so scared. Oh my God, maybe I'll annoy somebody with being who I am. That's okay. Let them take a look at themselves. You're just showing up with love, full self-expression, and know that maybe you're giving them the most amazing gift in the world by creating a little reminder of that trigger that's there that needs a little bit of their attention.
It's so true. There's so many memes out there, and like authenticity is like, so sexy. It's so powerful. It's so powerful. It's the greatest gift you can give someone is to be authentic in their presence, because it sheds light on so much. It gives other people the permission to them then be authentic.
Yeah.
Right? You're giving permission. Right? Sometimes we're just like, I don't know if I want to do that. It's like, but I'm going to do that. When we do that, we're actually received more deeply than you could ever imagine. And so, the thing with triggers is, I remember I was working with a very good friend of mine who's a shaman, and we were doing a lot of work, and I was purging some deep, heavy stuff from my childhood. And I remember just releasing, and then all of a sudden, right afterwards, like right after I did all this heavy work, I got triggered so bad by the specific people and things that I was releasing. And I was like, what is wrong with us? I started judging myself. And then what I was being shown was I needed to be triggered. It needed to hit that spot in me that needed to be looked at. Just like when when you have like an infection in your teeth, like to get the root canal, there's got to be some kind of pain or discomfort for you to understand where the pain is coming from, so that you could go in there and drill it, clean that out, fill it back up, and be like, ta-da! It's the same thing with triggers. Like it has to tell, like, here it is, baby. So you go into the trigger and you're like, what is wrong with me? There's nothing wrong with you. There's such a deep process of clearing from the conscious level to the physical level to DNA level to ancestor level to collective consciousness level. It is never ending. It is like when Dove said, oh, it's simple. It is very simple, yet in this body, it's very complicated because it's dense and the process is a little bit slower than would it be if I left my body right now and was just like a magician, which we are magicians even in this body, right? So when we start to clear away that, then we understand that we create everything and that we can create it very quickly and that we are the masters of our universe and we get to master that, right? But we have to go through the fire, the pain. We have to go through these triggers and we have to look at them. So when Dove and I started to look at it from a different point of view, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to just laugh in the face of pain. I'm going to enjoy it because every time I had pain, something great came out of it. So I'm like, why the fuck wouldn't I? Excuse my language. I'm like, why wouldn't I be like, yes, bring it on? Because out of that came everything. Out of that actually came real Nicole. Out of that. Right? And so start there. Right? Don't be like, to pain. I don't want to feel discomfort. Embrace it. Allow yourself to be in it. Right? And some of us at times in our life, I could not sit with myself. Like I can understand some people are watching this and are like, I don't want to sit alone with myself. I don't want to sit in this, right? So sometimes we need to release, and sometimes like I had to get help. I had to go and have mentors. I had to have coaches. I had to be in groups with people. I had to go to events. I had to do things to start to connect and start to release and allow myself to go through this process, not alone, but with a team, because why the hell would you want to do it alone? First of all, right? We don't have to, right? And if anyone understands Dove and I really understand almost a lot of things we've gone through, so I understand a lot of things, not everything, right? So I don't want to be like grandiose, but I've experienced so much stuff, and we both have experienced so much stuff in our life that we understand, and we have complete compassion and empathy for all humans.
Yes. So with all of this happening right now, right, you guys are feeling these things amplified. There's so much intensity, right?
Yes.
There's intensity on your triggers. There's intensity on your pain. There's intensity in everything. So as we're now sort of like actively in this full moon energy, letting yourself just kind of be, if even just for a moment, allowing it to kind of wash over you, and also start to really hold your intention of how you want to step through that. And again, if this is a time of completion, this energy of completion right here, you're able to let everything you've been working on since August kind of create some completion, and you're moving into a new chapter.
Yep.
So don't run from it. Don't bring it with you into a time that it doesn't need to come with you. Just like be with it a little bit and allow yourself to imagine, even bring it into your visceral sort of mind, and just kind of imagine walking through as if it's all kind of this veil in front of you. And just imagine yourself walking through it, experiencing it, letting it go, and being in this new positive energy, which is going to be feeling really good this next month.
Yeah, what's interesting about completion is when something's not complete, it's actually taking up space, right? So if you can imagine, like, even this room as like a house for like the universe to give me all the things I'm working towards. When we're working on something, it creates like space, and when we complete it, it's literally like moved out of the space so that there's room for more. It's like, okay, I'm ready for the next thing. And you're ready.
Yeah.
Like, you're ready right now. You're ready for whatever's coming next. And so you're not alone, right? We're all going through this together. Everyone is going through it in some sort of way, and in their own process and the way they're perceiving it. But everyone's going through that. Yeah, and I always say is, you're not crazy. Some of us, some people were just like, I feel like I'm losing my mind. And it's like, it's okay. I get that, right? We're shifting. As we're shifting, our reality starts to shift. And we're just like, whoa, okay. Like, this is new. It's just new. It's something different, something new, something fresh that you're a part of.
Yeah. So maybe make yourself a little note, right? Maybe set an alarm on your phone or put a Post-it up, and just kind of remind yourself that, like, when you go through these things, that is bringing your breakthrough, and it is bringing the growth that you want, and is bringing what you asked for. A lot of you are also asking for a lot of beautiful things this year, and in order to get there needs to be breakdown in your surroundings. The things that are not serving you need to fall away.
Yes.
A lot of the times when we do this work and you become more and more aligned, people think, oh, but I'm having all this breakdown. Well, that breakdown is necessary. It needs to fall away in order for you to be in that space that you want to create.
Yep.
Right? So some things for you guys to think about. We're sending you a lot of good energy
So much love
through the new moon. The tongue twister that it is. I was about to say the whole thing and I was like, tongue twister. So again, if you are new to our channel, please subscribe. Please pass this message along if you think it'll be useful for anyone else that might be going through something. Please hit the like button if it suits you and you liked it and it felt valuable to you. We're going to continue to provide you as much support and content as we possibly can. So we love you guys so much.
Love you so much.
Bye.
Bye.